Emome, tonight I will tell you a story where trick meets trick. My friend, your Gary looks heavy today, and your walnuts look very full. Let us trade. No need, trust me that much?
Please subscribe.
Papa Unyotan was a very powerful man. He had 7 wives and many children. He lived with his family and his cousins in a village called Otorotu. Papa Unyotan loved people deeply. He was generous and kind. Otorotu was his home, and he lived there happily with his family and with those he had helped over the years. Although Papa Unyotan was old, he looked like a man in his 50s. His body was short, dark, and strong like a tortoise, full of energy and life. He worked as a motor driver, traveling to different villages to carry goods to a large distance market. Sometimes, Papa Unyotan would be away for days. When he returned, he always brought back stories that amazed the children. All night, when the moon was full and bright, he would gather all the children around him. They would sit quietly, staring at his face as a baby stares at his mother, waiting for him to begin. There were no school in Otorotu or in the neighboring villages. The children spent their days in the farm, helping their mothers and taking care of Papa Unyotan's farmlands, while he focused on his motor business. Papa Unyotan believed that stories and experience were as important as formal education. Through storytelling, he taught his children wisdom and knowledge. One evening, Papa Unyotan sat on his wooden rocking chair, fanning himself with a palm leaf and fan. The moon shone bright and full over the village. The children gathered around him, their eyes wide with anticipation. "Hey, Mome," Papa Unyotan said with a smile. "Are you ready for tonight's story?" "Yes, Papa, we are," the children replied eagerly. Some were bouncing with excitement. Others were barely able to sit still. Papa Unyotan's eyes twinkled. Tonight's story is a story where trick meets trick, and when the truth is revealed, there is an uproar. The children leaned forward. There were 2 men from faraway places who met one day at Ajaro market. One was called Wayoman, and the other Koniman. The children laughed at the names. "Papa, Wayo and Koni?" They jingled. "Yes," Papa Unyotan said, smiling. "Wayoman sold walnuts. Koniman sold Gary." Both men had traveled to many markets, tricking people. But as the saying goes, one day for the thief, one day for the owner. That day was their day at Ajaro market. On that day, Wayoman brought 2 bags of walnuts to sell, and Koniman brought 2 sacks of Gary. Wayoman wanted to sell his walnuts and buy Gary to take home. Koniman came to sell Gary and buy walnuts. As soon as they saw each other, they traded their goods. Wayoman bought the sacks of Gary from Koniman, and Koniman bought the bags of walnuts from Wayoman. Each man believed he had tricked the other, but when Wayoman got home and started unpacking, he discovered something terrible that his eyes could not believe. Half of each sack of Gary was filled with sand. Shocked, he fell to the ground. Hey, I don't die. That man a Kone man," he shouted. The children burst out laughing, and even Papa Unyotan chuckled. Kone man, too, opened his sacks at home and found half of his walnuts mixed with rubber seeds. He held his head in despair. "Ah, which kind bad market be this? That man, na Wayo man. He don't trick me." The children laughed so hard that they rolled on the ground. Their mothers even came out of their huts to see what was happening. Papa Onyota continued. The next market, Konima did not come. Wayoma searched for him, asking all the drivers in the market. He told them what Konema had done, and the drivers laughed and said they would teach him a lesson. At the third market, Papa Onyota went on. Konema came looking for Wayoman. He asked the drivers about him, and they told him that Wayoman had searched for him at the last market. The drivers laughed and said, "Ah, Wayoman has outsmarted each other." The story of Wayoman and Koniman spread through Ajaro market. Even the drivers sang songs about it. Papa Onyota smiled at the children. Emome, that is the end of today's story. It is time for bed. He rose from his wooden rocking chair, and one of the children carried it back to the hut. Outside, the moon slowly disappeared, leaving the village in gentle darkness.